be aware this episode contains adult themes and is not suitable for younger listeners.
Aye, travellers, and welcome to another edition of the Pro Wrestling Journey. And today, you're going on a journey, alright. We're going to be rolling through the road to Championship Gold. We're going to be flying down Bucky Boys Avenue. And we're even going to take a wee cruise round Take Me Out Boulevard. Because today, we bring you the Buckfast Barbarian. We bring you the original Ned. Today, right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring you Davey Fucking Blaze. Here we fucking go. Davey, my man. Thanks very much.
How you doing, mate? You alright?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Not bad, mate. Good to be on the show.
Thanks very much for coming on. It is much appreciated, like.
No worries at all, mate.
Just gonna jump straight into my first question here, and it is, when did you start watching professional wrestling, and how did you get into it?
I started watching wrestling years and years ago when I was younger, as anybody else would. It was usually like with my brothers and stuff. I was watching it. So obviously back then it was the Attitude Era. It was like obviously like Taker, Stone Cold, The Rock, Rick Rude, all of these guys. But I didn't actually start getting into it until I was 15 in 2009. I nearly forgot there.
Aye. So what drew you into wrestling? Was it the characters? Well, you said the Attitude Era, Stone Cold, The Rock. It was pretty much character driven at that point. Yes. Was it the physicality or was it the storylines? Was it a wee bit of both?
It was a bit of both. Obviously, like what kind of drove me into it was the fact that it was like the characters. You had obviously guys like Undertaker, you had Triple H, you had The Rock, you had Stone Cold, you'd even like Vince McMahon, the guy that owns the company.
Aye.
But it was the fact that it was just like the attitude was there. You had like all the uncensored stuff that you wouldn't see nowadays.
No.
So it was all that stuff, and obviously it was the talent behind it as well, the athleticism and stuff like that. That really drew me into professional wrestling. So
lovely.
That was part and parcel.
And when you think of professional wrestling, who's the first person that comes to mind?
God, I'd need to say it's quite hard, to be honest. I don't know. If it's nowadays, then I'd probably say my big pal Drew McIntyre. But if we're talking Attitude Era, the biggest two names back then were Stone Cold and The Rock.
Aye, definitely. Stone Cold. I was actually, I can't. If I had to pick between Stone Cold and The Rock, it would probably be Stone Cold.
Aye,
because he was such a badass back in the day, like.
He was the SOB.
He was. When you were growing up in Glasgow, was it cool to be a wrestling fan, or did you get shite for it?
No, you definitely got shite for it. Pardon me. No, you definitely got shit for it. But that was the best bit about it, because obviously they were back again. People weren't really focused on doing anything growing up in schemes, or like the person that I kind of like idolised and looked up to was my brother John, because he was away like in the army training in his like teenage years and then get deployed into Iraq. Right. And obviously now he's got like war medals and he's done all this stuff. He's been in the world. So it was like for then it was like everything that I took, like I wanted to be like him, because originally I was going to go into the army. Right. And like my mum and dad were basically saying to me, look, you need to speak to him. He's obviously been through it. He'll tell you this and that. But eventually he just said to me, he was like, no, like, I want you to go and do wrestling. That's what you want to do. Like the army's not really a place for a young boy. So that was me. Went into wrestling and then boom, skyrocketed.
There you go. It's a good choice that you did make the wrestling choice. It's worked out all right for you, mate.
It is, mate. It is.
Did you ever attend any wrestling shows live as a fan? Before
I
you
did.
actually started? I did.
And it's so weird because my trainer, Kid Fight, obviously he owns Premier British Wrestling, so he couldn't actually believe it before I started wrestling, and it was quite weird. And it was also good because we'll get into it later on. But I went up to a wrestling show with my dad and my brother. It was the first ever Maximum Impact at the Magnum Centre, and it was PBW,
Right.
and that was Drew's Drew McIntyre's last ever appearance in the time that he gets signed.
Oh, God.
So that was, I believe and this is me going back with a bad memory. It was Lionheart versus Darkseid, and Drew McIntyre or Drew Galloway was the special guest referee.
Oh, nice one. That would have been a hell of a show.
Oh, it was a cracker.
I can imagine, especially back in the. I've seen some footage, Drew, before he got signed to WWE the first time round, and he was doing the Scottish proud, like he's always been Guinness proud, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely. He's flying the flag high.
Aye, he is to me, he's the epitome of Scottish wrestling. He's the guy that's made it, and everybody looks up to Drew.
Absolutely. I agree.
You just mentioned there PBW. You started training there in 2009. You started there pretty young, to be honest.
Aye, 15.
15. Aye. So how did you get into it so young?
It was we moved. My mum and dad they moved from the area Tory Glen that I was actually brought up in.
Right.
And we moved up towards Fuckin, and it was that was back in 2009. It was just at the start of the year actually, and obviously, so I was like to myself, I went, right, if I'm going to actually really go and chase it, then now is the age to go for it, because you don't want to get older and obviously the years are kind of coming against you in case you don't get signed or anything like that. So I had no idea in how I was going to get into a wrestling school. In my head, I was like, I'm going to need to save up money and get a flight, go to America, and because that was what that I had in need. So I went by the off chance. I went, I'll Google it. So I googled wrestling schools in Glasgow, and then at a time before it was the PBW Academy, this is us going way back. It was called the SPWA. It was called the Scottish Professional Wrestling Alliance. Right. So it was. And that was owned by Kid Fight. So that was back then. That was where the generation of me, Stevie Xavier, Keely Ray, Andy Wild, Noam Dar. That was the class and the generation that we all came from.
All right, I see. And when you first started training there, was there a wrestling ring?
There was, but there was also a mat area as well. So to get into the ring, it was almost like a treat. So it was like, and this is it, and this isn't anything to do with like, this isn't a dig to like the new generation that's coming through, but even the generation before me, like Drew, Lionheart, Wolfgang, BT Gunn, Jack Jester, Kid Fight, Liam Thompson, like, all these get like we had it easier. Well, no easier, but a lot easier than what they had it, and they never had wrestling rings back in their day. So, but we had the wrestling rings in our generation, and it was you had to earn the privilege of being getting taught on the mats and then getting into the ring. But you were doing your training sessions were every Sunday for 7 hours straight. So you were starting off by doing a mile run up to where the unit was, up towards past the motorway, past the McDonald's, and then coming back, you were doing another mile. So you were doing a 2-mile run for a warm-up, and then you would come back, and then you would like line up outside the industrial estate, because it was like a big, massive, long drive. So you would then get the person that was like equal height and size up in the shoulder, fireman carry runs, wheelbarrow runs, press ups in the wheelbarrow position, squats in the fireman carry. And then you were going right in, straight off the back of that, you were going right in, taking bumps, doing your 4 bumps, your back bump, front bump, fishtail, flip. And then it was like boom, 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 but like doing it all over again, do you know what I mean? So it was quite hard. It was like that old saying, it was like separating the boys from the men.
Aye.
But when I was training there, kid fighting a few other boys, they were trying to break me. They were trying to actually make sure that I wouldn't come back.
Aye, try to weak it.
Aye, and obviously now I've
been wrong.
Aye, exactly.
You've earned it. Like you just said about your training there, and it sounds pretty intense, to be honest. Like, was giving up ever an option? Did you ever think to yourself, fuck this?
No, because it's one of these things, mate. If it like the same with being a football player, being an actor, being a ballet dancer, an artist, a painter. If this is something that you want to do, then you need to just suck it up. You need to not be a bitch. And you need to go into it head first. I would rather be. I've always said I've always rather be being thrown into the deep ends rather than the shallow end. If you get thrown into the deep end, then you know how to float, you know how to swim. But if you go into the shallow end first, then you don't know what to expect when you get to the deep end. So, aye.
Like that's it. Like, I was training at GPWA just before this whole pandemic, and like you said, there I can see. I started straight away. There was 2 rings, and that's. I just wonder what it's going to be like for the generation after me, because I think it's all getting a wee bit. Everybody, the previous generation, they've all built up to make it easier for the next guys.
It's no so much making it easier, but it is still very tough, and it is still very hard, and it's grueling because obviously to be a professional wrestler, it's not a thing that just gets handed out to like everybody. Do you know what I mean? And that's nothing bad against anybody who can't make it. It's just obviously the business is very like it demands a lot of obviously like athletic, like mentally up here, physical and stuff like that. But in regards to what you're saying with the rings, it's not like through generations it keeps getting easier. Like it's the generation before me, like my peers, and then my generation, and then the generation it's obviously now. We went through a lot of stuff that shouldn't have really happened. Do you know, like nothing. I'm not saying it was like eating like a physical beating or something like that, but it was like nowadays we've got like a lot of like health and safety, like disclosure forms, make sure everything's done by the book. Everybody, do you know what I mean? So it's like that'll always stay there for the end of time, as far as I believe. But other than that, like actually doing the training, learning how to be a professional wrestler, like it's all part and parcel. Like this is the end of the day. It's you're training to be a professional wrestler. You're going to go into a wrestling ring with somebody, male or female, different shapes and sizes, and it's you're putting your life into somebody else's hands, and they're putting like theirs into yours. So it's the matter of fact that we need to make sure that all students, male, female, need to be trained properly. They need to know their footing. They need to know ring positioning, how to handle with care. And it's like if something goes wrong, then you could either end your life or you could be like disabled. Do you know what I mean? So everything that we take into consideration is very serious, and it's all like kind of made down in the middle with a choice. Do you know what I mean?
I definitely get that. Do you think there's been as the years going on? Do you think as it's getting bigger, there's more things becoming available? Like Iron Godder's gym. How much has that been a benefit to yourself and other wrestlers?
Oh, it's been a massive benefit like to myself and to others because obviously now they've got a fully functional gym from CrossFit, weights, body weight workout equipment, recovery stuff, so like foam rollers, everything. And then obviously they've got hammer strength equipment machines, and then they've also got the wrestling ring. So not only have they got people that are in there doing like PT work, as in in the gym fitness, but there's also Wolfgang, Stevie, Betty, Liam. There's boys in there that are doing one-to-ones on wrestling as well, and that's anybody that wants to learn the wrestling or just understand what it takes. It's the way it's all organised and stuff like that. It's brilliant the way that it's now been functioned into an actual all-round gym. Do you know what I mean? So, it's a brilliant gym. It's done the wonders for me. Like,
a nice, perfect place for like the one-to-ones. I've actually done a couple of one-to-ones with Wolfie.
How did you get on?
Both times, I ended up spewing. See the Brookside Shuffles, man. They make me spew like fuck.
Aye.
Spew my ringer up.
The Brookside Shuffles are good. I like them, man.
Aye.
Up.
Aye.
They're class, man.
I always say, like, because when you look at them, they look like a piece of piss. But
but it's gone round, and then it's the change. Aye. So, but they're class, man.
Aye, definitely. But when he made me do them, and then he made me do them at the end, I think he must have knew I was going to end up running to the toilet late. But both times, the 2 sessions I've done, I've waited. But it means I'm doing so.
That's a good sign, mate. I waited back in my day, so don't worry.
I'm working. How was Kid Fight as a trainer?
Brilliant. Brilliant as a trainer. I look up to him, still look up to him. Great friend. He was a brilliant trainer. He'd done a lot for his students. Got his students, including myself, out to Europe, all over the UK, in big major companies. Done a lot. So in regards, Kid Fight was a great trainer. Still is, in my opinion.
He's done a lot for Scottish wrestling. Kid Fight.
Absolutely.
I was going to ask did you have any kind of natural talent for wrestling, or is it just been a case of over the years getting it drilled into you? Repetition? No,
it was like it was. It's. I'm not going to sit here and go, "Oh, I was like Dwayne Johnson at the start," like because I wasn't, but it was like I took to it and put it into aspect, right? There was people who I've seen through the years that have took 3 or 4 years to debut,
right?
And it's just like a straight up friends and family show. But with me, it was like I debuted in a year, and that was on a friends and family show. And then the next year, I was 16, and my first European country was out to Germany in Tynstedt. And I was like on a show with Bad Bones, Absolute Andy, and I actually fought. It was me, Sean South, against Scottish Saxton, and this big massive. I know people might not heard him now, but back then he was this guy was meant to be like a real big deal. His name was Carsten Kreshmere. In my opinion, I thought he was an absolute fucking prick. So I thought he was an absolute prick.
There we go. That's that for the record then.
Aye, that's it. That's the first prick called out.
We've gone for a prick. I don't know if you want to share this. If you don't, I could edit this bit out, but I seen a video on YouTube. You were calling Bad Bones a ball bag over some cheese.
Aye. That was
a fair few years back.
Oh God, a few years back. It was basically we done a wrestling show and we stayed over at this guy's house, and it was myself, Chris Rampage, and I think it was Noam as well. we were all sitting in, and Bad Bones just came in for the gym, and he's furious. Like maybe somebody was like picked up a dumbbell that he was using or something like that. But when he came here to wrestle, when he stayed at this guy's house, it was like £20 to spend for his shopping. So the story was, it was basically he would keep everything in his bags, and then so everybody would know not to touch his food. But then I was like, I was in making this language, and it was not. I was using the stuff that was on the shelf in the fridge, and then obviously I've made the sandwich, ate it, blah blah blah, and he's come in and just went off his tits, and he's like, "You ate my cheese," and I had one slice, mate, and he's like, "You ate my cheese," in this German accent. I was like, "Aye, mate," I says, one slice of cheese. I says, "I don't know it was yours." And he just went off his nut, and I was like, "Aye, right, man. This guy's going to rip me off." Yeah, a slice of cheese.
It was a fucking huge guy now, wasn't he? Bad Bones.
Oh, aye, he was massive. I think he still is, but that's all that yoga he's been doing.
Oh, I was going to ask you now, how did you come up with your ring name?
Funnily enough, I used to do breakdancing years ago, and this is honestly right. So, me and Kid Fight were on the way to Largs for breaking limits, right?
Aye.
And this is at a time that I made my debut. So, no, sorry, I believe I was still doing security for shows actually. So it was. So this was in the same year leading up to me make my debut at the end of the year. So it was me and Ross, Kid Fight, we were on the way to breaking limits in his motor. And we were sitting there, and he's like, right, so he's like, and this is a weird thing, right? Because everybody at first, they were like, what is your name? So usually you would go, say for instance, Noam would go say, my name's Noam. That's his real name. So I've walked in and I've went, Blaze, right? So everybody just knew me for Blaze, for the get-go, right? So Ross was saying to me, he's like, is your second name really Blaze? And I went, no. I went, it's David Coyle. And he went, right, so why are you called Blaze then? And I says, because when I used to do the breakdancing, I says, I was called, when I done the breakdancing, it was B-Boy Blaze. And he says, right, Davey Blaze, that's you. You're sorted. And that was where the name came from.
Nice one. How did you get your foot in the door with British Championship Wrestling?
So the foot in the door with British Championship Wrestling, obviously at this point, I was well over there. Maybe must have been halfway through into my second year. So the tag team, my first tag team that I was a part of, Blaze and Rampage, get made. So we were doing shows on PBW and stuff like that. But my first company that I wrestled for before PBW, it was British Championship Wrestling. So they were the first company to book me, first company to give me my belt, my first ever belt, and my first import. Right, so they booked me and Rampage then started breaking out. Boom, we get booked for PBW, all this other stuff. But we then went into a storyline with the models from down south. And then we went into the build-up with them. The Greg Kempo, the star from Still Game, who I'm quite pal with, he get then involved and we got him into the storyline. So leading up to No Blood, No Sympathy, Greg Kempo was a special guest referee. It was Blaze and Rampage versus the models. And then that was when I get my first title. And then from there, I don't know maybe if this is one of your questions, but that was when my first ever import ever at 16 was WCW and WWE Hall of Famer, Kevin Nash.
Aye, funny you say that because I've got my notes here that 2011 which was
May 25th. Am I right?
that's the one. Not even a full 2 years in the business, and you find yourself in the ring with big, sexy Kevin Nash.
Aye.
How nervous were you with that, Ian? And did you learn anything for Kevin?
Oh, aye. I learned to drink a bottle of red wine anyway. No, I learned a lot for the big man. I think myself, Kid Fight, Kaylee, Rampage, and Stevie, we all learned a lot from him, man. He was an absolute, literally gentle giant, and it was class because obviously, like, we've watched this guy, like, he was King Shredder, he was a Russian at a Punisher, so putting him into all these kind of different aspects of roles, I was saying to my mates, I was like, I fought King Shredder, and I fought the Punisher it's the big Russian for the Punisher. But it was like, he was just so laid back. He was the coolest guy ever. He was just so laid back. I can remember I was like planning the match with him, and I says to him, he was like, "What do you want to do, little man?" I was like, "Mr. Nash, I'll come in and try and take the leg, and you take the bump." And he's like, "No, just you run in, take the big boot." I was like, "Right, all right, mate, no bother." But I can remember there was a bit in the match. I don't know if you were there in the crowd, but he's like, I'm taunting him, and I got to spit on the, like, kind of outside the ring to him to kind of get him in.
Aye.
And this big massive goggle like that lands on his red pleather trousers, and he's on the ropes like this, and he looks at me and he goes. And I was like, oh my God, man. He literally just one foot in the ring, leg of the top rope, one foot in the ring, and he was like in the same corner as me, like here. And I was like, oh my God, he's going to leather me. But I know, wait, within the match, the big man loved it and stuff like that. And we hanged. I was on a night out at Fusions with boys, and I got a phone call for the promoter, Graham McKay, and he's like, Kevin Nash wants you to come to his hotel room. I was like, what for? I was like, is that because I spat in his trousers? And he was like, no, he just wants to, because you're into bodybuilding and all that. He wants to come and he wants you to come and have a drink. And I went, nah, you're ribbing me. So he's came and got me. We went back to the what was it, the Premier Inn that Kevin Nash was staying in, and he's just sitting with 12 bottles of red wine, and he's like, hey, you ever drank red wine? And I was like, no. He's like, here, take a bottle. And I swear to God, I was steaming in one bottle. The stuff was mental. But he was like showing me photos. What was it, 120-foot yacht or something like that. He's got an island and all that sort of stuff. And it was the coolest weekend ever, mate.
Oh, aye.
Coolest weekend ever, man.
Mega. Nah, Kevin Nash, he's certainly no hurting for a loaf of bread anyway.
Exactly.
You started teaming with Chris Rampage, and when you did get the tag titles, I was going to ask you about your chemistry, because I want to know, does chemistry something, you hear folks saying about this instant chemistry, but does chemistry take time to build up, or was it with Chris?
Well, obviously, the chemistry with Chris was kind of like 50-50 instant, and the other kind of 50% it was like we had to work on it, because me and him were came for the same training skill. Right. So we had the wrestling wing, and then obviously after every Sunday a training, you would always finish up. Everybody gets selected into matches, so you done matches. So breaking in with me first, obviously it was tag wrestling. So I was tagging with Chris Rampage, and that was obviously where the chemistry came from in the training school days. Right. But from there, when we got the tag titles, the chemistry just flew through the roof. Seriously, it was just like every show we were getting better. We were coming up, we were sitting talking to each other on MSN or Bebo or Facebook when it got to Facebook, and it was like we're sending each other matches and going, right, we can incorporate this into a signature finish, and then this could be the finisher. And then we'd always chop and change finishes or signature finishes. So the chemistry was until he left wrestling. We were until he didn't leave wrestling. I think it was until I was the Triple Crown, the first ever Triple Crown tag team champion in Scottish wrestling. And then and that was when he left wrestling at that point. And then that was obviously when I started getting into ICW at this point, doing security. And then boom, me and Stevie got these opportunities, but it was like jobber roles, but it was more like a foot in the door, if you will. Like if you they weren't going like that, they didn't quite go like that to us. Like if you do this, it's a foot in the door. What Dallas says, you do this jobber thing for us and make somebody look good, then you never know. So obviously, boom, and then that's kind of what led into ICW for me and Stevie.
Oh, nice one. And what was your relationship like with Dallas at that time? Was it?
It was good, mate. Aye, it was like obviously we were all young boys, young lasses. So it was like getting to know Dallas at first. Do you know what I mean? So it was just getting to know him, getting him to know us. Like we're the next upcoming kind of generation. We want to we want to do you proud. We want to wrestle for ICW. At this point, ICW wasn't anywhere near as big as what it is now.
No.
Like if I will, the people who built ICW was the Bucky Boys, the Lamb, Andy Wild, Lionheart, Rolfie, Kid Fight, Leon Thompson, Dallas himself, all the lassies. So it was like we were still wrestling in the Maryhill community halls when all this was happening. And I can remember like, we used to go out for drinks or for meals or what. And then it was like we got to know Dallas a lot more. And then for there, it was like we got the foot in the door. I started getting like my first ever storyline. It was actually Blazing Rampage at first in ICW. Sorry. And then when Rampage had left, like wrestling, that was the point where Dallas pulled us aside, me and Stevie aside, and he says, I've got this tag team character called the Bucky Boys. He says, and I ain't used two of the two guys to play it. He says, but I want to run it with you first to see. So I didn't quite click like with the character, my character, Davey Boy. So it was like I had, and this wasn't at the time where it was like the red iconic matching Adidas trackies that needs to be there. This was like the time where we had the slasher hats, right? But the trackies that we were wearing, I had like Puma Ferrari trackies and a pair of blue kind of cotton jogger trackies. Stevie had these black ones and white ones.
Aye.
So the first show that we done together, it was like I had my wrestling gear on, I had my Blazing Rampage trunks on, and I can remember Stevie doing the hot tag to me, and I've just like literally ripped my trackies off my legs, and I went to jump into the ring, and Stevie just looked at me and he went, "You were supposed to keep the trackies on." So. But after the first couple of shows, like everybody loved us for the first show. It clicked, and then for that was it, mate. Like I think we done a couple of more shows, where before we brought in the Red Adidas trackies, and I pulled Stevie aside and I said to Stevie, I says, mate, why don't we have matching trackies? I says, we'll get red ones. And he was like, aye. And I says, right. So we done it, but it was like obviously nowadays the Bayface wear shorts. So it was like with me, it was like I was saying to Stevie one night, man, I think I can't remember what show, but I was like, I'm cutting these joggies, man. And he went, you'll ruin it. And I went, no, mate. I went, I'll just have a shorts as my look. I went, it's too hot because we used to tuck our trackies into our socks. In a wrestling gear. So see how when you're working a match, like a 20-minute match, 30-minute match, see when you're sweating. I mean, we couldn't breathe, and it was only tracky bottoms we were wearing. So I was like, no, I says, we'll need to, I says, mate, I'm just going to cut it into shorts. I says, because I feel like I'm about to pass out, man, every time I wrestle. So that was how me and Stevie knew wear shorts.
There you go. Oh, fuck. I was when did the wee man come into this?
The wee man came into ICW when it was still, we were still working in the Maryhill community halls. So the wee man had come in to do actually the song, that famous song. I was like, you're not singing it back, you're crying like that, yes. But because he didn't actually write the song, he forgot most of the song. So you heard me, Stevie, Lionheart, Wolfie, Joe Coffey and that, Mark Coffey, all singing it backstage. But at the time, me and Stevie couldn't really talk on like doing promos. So we needed to have like a manager that was suitable for us. And then Dallas pulled me and Stevie aside and he was like, what do you think about the wee man coming to me? He's being your manager. And me and Stevie were like jumping at the chance. We were like, yes. And mate, boom, that was it. The Bucky Boys.
Perfect. And wasn't it too long after that Lambrini became part of the crew? Aye.
I think it was Lambrini was training under Kid Fight as well. And obviously she was doing well. It was obviously her time. And I think it was, what was it? Dallas just came up with this character instantly. I think he'd seen her sitting backstage back in the day at ICW, like drinking Lambrini.
Aye.
She wasn't on the show, but she was sitting with me and Stevie and the wee man just having a laugh. And Dallas went, Lambrini, done. And that was, and then obviously then it went for when Lambrini left wrestling. Obviously, Keely Ray came in, what was more suitable, to be honest. And then, boom, again, the Bucky Boys, the Bucky Lassie.
Oh no, they were some good days in ICW, like.
Oh, mate, still having the good days.
Aye, definitely. Can't wait for this to open back up and I can get myself over to an ICW show.
I know, mate, it's going to be amazing.
Aye, so the last thing I was at was Fear and Loathing at the Hydro. Lionheart won the title.
Aye. I wasn't there. I was away for 3 years at that point.
Aye.
So I was.
I've got it in my notes, so I'll ask it just now. I bumped into you at the Bret Hart inside the ropes.
Yep.
And I don't know if you were kayfabing me or no, because you were telling me you didn't care when you were going to come back to ICW. And
I was legit.
That was legit, was it?
Didn't know.
Right, that was because it wasn't long. Was it about a month after that you were back in ICW?
Possibly, mate. Aye, possibly. But at that point, mate, honestly, I would tell you the now if it was.
Oh
no, it was like me and Dallas had a big phone out at one of the shows,
right?
And then obviously, one thing led to another. It nearly got physical, but it didn't. So I left. I quit the company.
Right.
People might say that I was sacked or what, but quite frankly, like I was the first ever person to, quite frankly, tell fucking Dallas to stick it. And that was it. I went my way. But through the years, I met back up with Dallas. We squared things up. I apologised and he apologised for obviously what had happened. So at that point, Dallas was saying to me, he was like, right, this doesn't mean you're coming back. And I says, I don't want to come back. I says, straight up, I says, I don't want to come back. I went, I'm squaring things up with you now. I went, that's it. I went, I'm no interest in coming back, you know. So through the years, I then started to get the itch to come back.
Aye.
So I was on at him. And I got to the point again where I was like, clearly nothing's happening, so I'm no balling my arse anymore. But that was it, done. And I think it was before I turned 27, Dallas said to me, like, phone me. I was getting ready for the gym. And he says, just to let you know, mate. And it was so weird because that same day was the same day that I get told about my WWE tryout. And I was like, what? So I lost my shit, right? So Dallas phoned me on the day of my birthday. And he says, right, mate, he says, we've had a long talk. He says, you've done, he says, 3 years. He says, you're coming back. And I was like, mate, don't ban me up. I says, and he was like, no, you're coming back. He says, don't tell anybody. He says, don't even tell the boys. He says, just, that's it, you're coming back. So obviously when he told me that I was coming back, that was after me and you had obviously spoke to each other.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? So, boom.
Aye.
So on the day of the show, right, fucking, like, nobody had heard from me for 3, like, I didn't even go online, nothing, there was no mention yet, nothing.
No.
So Dallas phoned me and he says, right, he says, are you at the asylum yet? And I says, aye. He says, right, you need to go in the back of Crowbar's motor, you need to go in the boot. And I went, what? I went, what the fuck do I need to go in the boot for? And he says, because you need to get sneaked into the venue. He says, if anybody sees you, then it's going to ruin the pop.
Aye.
So I was like to myself, I went, this pop better be fucking good for me going in the back of a boot. So Crowbar was putting jackets in that air, man. We got to the venue and I could just hear everybody like rattling on the motor, shouting, Crowbar, Crowbar. And I was like, Crowbar, I was like, I went the back doors yet. And he's like, keep your head down, Blaze. So we go obviously to the back, and I swear to God, all the boys were like, what are you doing here? I was like, I'm coming back tonight. And they were like, no, you're no. But I've got a video. I've got a video, right? And if I could say, if I'm going to send you it so you can put it in, because this is what's going to make it, man. And this video, mate, you've Thomas said F. He's like, are you ready, player? And you see everybody backstage, man. And they'll just, honestly, they're like, it's like my big face turns in. But that pop, mate, and like talking about it now, man, goosebumps. Like, I think that was like one of the loudest pops ever in ICW. It's got to be.
Aye. Definitely. Are you talking about the pop for the crowd?
Oh, aye.
Aye. Because I was thinking now, when you were talking about the boys backstage popping, because you hadn't been back.
Aye. Mate, my brother and his wife are there, right?
Aye.
And fucking obviously, so when my face is turned, man, everybody. No, but the best bit is, right, my brother Martin went, it was so funny, mate, because obviously your kind of slogan that he shouts, here we fucking go, right? So he says, when it got to the second here we, and then it went, here we fucking, and he says, you just heard everybody going, like, if they were going, no, it can't be. And then he says, see when your face turned in, he says, this guy beside me grabbed me and he went, it's Davey fucking Blaze. My brother Martin was like that. That's my wee brother. Yeah, so it was a good night, man. It was, mate, class.
Aye.
Class, man. I still watch it back to this day on YouTube or the Facebook. I can't get enough of it.
Oh, no, it's an absolute bolt, all right. That's when was it Ravy Davey versus Grado?
Aye.
Mate,
and then I went into the storyline with Davey Davey straight after that.
Aye. Knocked him about a wee bit.
Oh, aye. Oh, yeah.
Put him in his place.
Buckfast Barbarian, baby.
That's the one. Yeah. You're the original Ned, man. I'm glad that you came back and addressed that. See,
mate.
Doing your thing for quite some time, so he was.
Oh, mate, it was so funny, you know, because I can remember I was sitting backstage at one, I think it was East Bride, one of the BSW shows, and it was after the show that Ravy Davey turned. see turn heel at the Hydro.
All right, aye.
And all the boys were like that. Every cunt was shouting in the Hydro, "You're just a shite, Davey Blaze.
Aye.
Shite, Davey." And
No,
I was like, "Fuck you off." I said, "So they were." He's like, all the boys like Kenny Williams and all that were all going, "No." Every cunt was shouting at him, and he was pure raging.
I wasn't singing that then. Sorry, David. That was my first ICW show. So,
was it honestly?
I am really. See, when it came to wrestling, I was just a big WWE fan.
Aye.
That's all I knew, really. I didn't really care enough about ICW until later on. I think it was 4 or 5 years I've been into ICW now. But I seen it on YouTube. Okay, and that's when I started watching ICW. It was
and that was it, mate. You caught the hook. We got the hook. Well, just reeling you in.
That was it. It was honestly the Bucky Boys, the Wee Man, Wolfie, Lionheart. These were all just doing shit that I hadn't seen in wrestling before. I was like, what the fuck's this? Again, this is.
Mate,
I've been missing it. I was missing it for fucking years. Like, I'm glad I've caught up in it though. I will say that.
Oh, mate, that's you, mate. Part of the family.
Aye.
Part of the crazy ones.
That's it. Certified insane.
Aye.
Was tag team wrestling, was that always your goal? Because you kind of specialise in tag team wrestling.
Well, at first I always wanted to break out, and I always wanted to do singles wrestling, right? Because at first I was like, I don't want to do tag wrestling, and I felt like tag wrestling was like it was going to take a bit away from my career. I felt like I was just getting put into tag wrestling just to fill up a number. Do you know what I mean? So, but what I didn't quite understand was that look at all the greats. Most greats have all came for tag team wrestling, right? And it was, it was Kid Fight that said to me, it was Lionheart, Wolfie, BT Gunn actually that said to me all at different times that everybody can specialise in singles wrestling, but there's no many few that can do it in tag wrestling as well. So obviously with me, I went, right, fuck it then. I went, I'll learn for yous and I'll become into a speciality in that. So at that point, like I was in these two tag teams, and then I became like, and I was doing it in England as well. But then I think I just won. It was the night I won my first ever ICW belt with Stevie at Get to the Chopper.
All right.
And Kid Fight was sitting backstage with me, and he said to me, he says, because I had the BCW belt, the PBW belt, and the ICW belt. Now I've never been one of these ones to bring every single belt to every wrestling show. That's just fucking wankish, right? But the only reason I done it for that show at Get to the Chopper was because I had all three major tag belts at the one time.
Triple
so I was going to get the cool promo photo.
Aye.
And Kid Fight went, do you not realise that? And he just started laughing. He was like, do you not realise that you became the first ever Scottish Triple Crown tag team champion? And he was like, no, you're the youngest person to do it. Don't get me wrong, there's other people that have done it, but I'm still the first person in the history books to do it, right? And I was like looking at the belts, and I was like, "Fuck, so am I?" And that was how I got the big graphic made. Triple Crown, youngest ever Triple Crown tag team champion, and that was fucking massive. Like, and that was just like an accomplishment and an accolade. Bang, just at the one time that I didn't even realise that I'd done. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously with the SCCC breaking record attendance of 4,000 people, becoming the biggest ever selling out show since Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks been invented. I opened up that show And then the year later at the Hydro, we smashed both records again, including our own. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
And I was the only wrestler to open up that show. So in British wrestling history, right now, I'm the only British wrestler to open up 2 of the biggest shows in the last, nearly, I'd say 40 years.
It's
Maybe
close to 40.
45 years or something.
Aye.
So nobody, that's another one, do you know what I mean?
That's quite I didn't even. So you opened up both nights?
Both nights, mate. It's on the history.
There you
Go
go.
and watch it back.
Did you realise that the second night, the next year after that, when you did it, opened up?
Oh, aye, because I was pushing for it. I was pushing for it, right?
Aye.
And I was saying to Dallas, it was Dallas that said to me, he says, "Do you know that what you've just done?" And I was like, I thought I'd done something wrong the way he said it. And I was like, no. And he says, "You're the only British wrestler right now to open up the biggest show in British wrestling history." And I went, "I'll be definitely running a Hydro next year." And he went, "Aye." I says, "Then how much?" And I says, "How many tickets have we got to sell for that?" And he says, "Well, we don't know definite." He says, "But right now," he says, "it's going to be over 6,000. And I went, "I want to open it."
Aye.
And he started laughing instantly. He just went like that. How? And I says to him, "Because I want to be the only British wrestler to have that record." And he went like that. He says, "You're going to need to work for it, mate." He says, "Because you're not the only person that said it to me." So, boom, I worked for it. Went into the storyline with Joe Hendry. And I was the actual guy that got Joe Hendry's first ever tag gold. First ever gold in ICW. And then obviously with me and him split up, that was where I got the spot to open up the show. Me and Joe.
That's the only gold Joe Hendry's had in ICW, I think, isn't it? He's
only gold, mate.
Aye.
Only gold.
You brought him to it.
I brought him to it. The big dog that specialises in tag wrestling.
I hope he thanks you for that.
Oh, mate, he has. He has, man. Me and Joe, man, are like that. Good boy, man. And I'm proud of him, see, for the success that he's done.
Aye.
Like, and everything. Like, amateur mat wrestling, like, winning medals in it, going to ROH, mate, WWE stuff. I'm proud of him, mate, and I've told him that every single time, mate. Do you know what I mean? That we've had conversations getting brought up between each other. Joe's a great guy, and I wish him all the best, mate, for the future.
He's absolutely killing it. And just when you're talking about Joe there, it's actually because of Joe Hendry's podcast that he did, How to Be a Pro Wrestler.
Yes.
That's what inspired me to actually take up training at GPWA.
Good, mate.
The message that he was saying was, if you've wanted to do this, if it's something that you actually you've wanted to try, you owe it to yourself, because you didn't want to get to the grave. What if questions, Ken? So I'm glad.
You're absolutely right, mate. And see what Joe says. See, and this is what a lot of people don't understand. What's the worst that could ever happen to you? Getting told no.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, who says that when the first time you get told no on anything, who has to say that fucking that's it, your chance is up? You never know when your chance is up. You just need to keep going, and you need to keep going and fucking chase it. See, the minute you can grab that brass ring and take it to anywhere you want to go, boom, that's it. You're on the run, mate. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's fear for getting told no, and they can't do it, which is bullshit. You can do it and put your head to it.
Aye, 100%. And you liked Edge, for example, and Daniel Bryan. They've been told no, they didn't take no for an answer. And
exactly, mate.
That's just what you're saying now. It's whether you've been told no, right? You're gonna put the effort in to get told aye, or are you just gonna lay it no? So
that's it. That's it. You need to decide, or you need to like kind of know like what path you're taking, or what roads you're taking.
Aye. I mean? Well, I got to level 3 with there's 3 8-week courses at GPWA before you get into the main club.
Yes.
I got to the third assessment and I just had a bad day. I went tits up for me. I was
everybody has their bad days. I've had my bad days. Seriously, I've had my bad days. There's a lot of people in WWE that have had their bad days, actors that have had bad days. But you get back to it. You go where you fucking fell off the horse. You get back on the horse and you go and do it.
That's
you
it.
Continue the road and that's it, mate. There's always going to be a bump in the road. There's always going to be an obstacle. You just need to either overcome it or climb it.
Aye, 100%. And as soon as this opens back up, like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that horse.
That's it.
Riding that back.
While you're wearing that Wu-Tang Clan t-shirt, you're going to do it.
I get where I'm from in Stranraw here. I pretty much get card Wu-Tang. I'm known as Wu-Tang because I've got a black Wu-Tang, a red Wu-Tang, I've got a Wu-Tang face mask. I represent.
Good man. That's quality, mate.
I got on their Instagram. See if you look on. I'll try and send you it. They retweeted me. It was me at the asylum.
Honestly, I
was doing the Stone Cold with the black Wu-Tang top on. They've put it on their Instagram. I was delighted with that. That's my claim.
Oh, mate, I'm proud of you, mate. That's dynamite.
Fuck it. That's much appreciated now. I'm going to talk about the main man in Scottish wrestling, Drew McIntyre, for a wee minute. Did you learn anything for your time with Drew? So can you've
I learned in ring and on the road with Drew. I learned everything, and I'm still learning because I still talk to the big man now and again, like on the Facebook Messenger, just when he's free or available. But when I wrestled Drew 1-on-1 and I wrestled Drew in ISW and I done angles with Drew in ISW, and it was obviously like being on the road with Drew, hearing stories or creating a story with him. Like, it was brilliant. The big man, like, never once thinks about himself. He thinks about the company, he thinks about the show, the place in the card, everybody in the match before he even thinks about himself, man. And that's why Drew is where he is today, because he thinks about everything up here. He does it in the ring. He's exceptional at what he does. So the big man deserves to be where he is. And honestly, see the goals that he's went and done, man. Like, he's got much more to come, mate.
It's unbelievable. And when you think to yourself, they goals, even haying goals like that in your head, you think to yourself, that's impossible. But he's broke that down, Ken. It was a long road.
That's it. He's flying the flag, mate. Flying the flag. Literally.
I don't know if it's going to happen, like, but I can see him going to NXT UK at some point just to fly the flag again.
I think he's already done it. How's he know?
I think
he went and done a show down at Blackpool for them, I believe.
Aye.
I'm positive.
I think he has taken appearance.
Aye.
But I'm thinking, I could be wrong here, but I've done a wee spiel on the podcast before, and my take is nobody's going to beat Walter anytime soon. So keep Walter the champion, make the big man Drew McIntyre take it off him, and let him have a run in the UK if that's what he wants to do. Because I've heard
mate, that's a good angle.
Aye,
that's class. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to see that. That would be good. But what about going for Big Wolfgang?
Big Wolfie.
Wolfie.
Aye, I can 100% see that, because I think a lot of the folk that watch it on the network, NXT UK, they're maybe not familiar with Wolfgang.
Wolfie would tie Big Walter up.
Aye.
Slam him, bang, 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 scoop slam, up top, swanton like that. Woo! Swanton that bad boy.
See, when you're bringing up Wolfgang there, I need to bring this up. What was that carry on in George Square? Big massive pillar fight. He can you halfway and starts doing you.
Mate, we were obviously we were doing the recording for the BBC Insane Fight Club show.
Right.
So Dallas had come up with this idea, the pillar fight in George Square. And me and Wolfie had to do it in our wrestling gear, right? Now, I had my wrestling gear under my jeans, right? So Dallas is like just gave the nod to me and Wolfie, right? And it was just effortless for him, man. Wolfie's coming towards me, right? And I'm trying to take my Gold's gym jumper off. I'm trying to take my jeans off, but everybody thinks I'm getting in the scud. Wolfie just Hulk Hogan's his top off and rips his throat, and he's in his singlet and his wrestling boots, and they start scudding each other with pillowcases and that. But mate, but was it one of the Glasgow City Council Clenny guys reversed his truck into the square, and we were all standing watching him, and he's got out with a brush, not even realising the amount he needs to clear away, but he's grabbed a brush for the back of the trailer, and he's turned around and looked at it and just went, nah, flung the brush back in, and then drove away, and then he's came back with one of the big mad sweeper things for the roads.
Oh, hey.
So it was class, mate. It was a good laugh.
Oh, that's the kind of stuff that makes ICW, Ken. That's what I love about ICW.
Mate, you had me and Dallas, me scaling the Wellington statue, putting the cone on his head.
Was that you that done that?
That was me, mate. Aye, that was me. Me and Dallas that done that. And then obviously,
was the police station?
Aye, and then obviously for there, the next stunt was Take Me Out.
Take Me Out. Aye, so what age were you when you did Take Me Out? You must have been pretty young.
I was 18.
Aye, 18. And what made you think I want to go on that show?
Well, at the time I was a buff butler, right?
Right.
So I was a butler on the buff, and we got these application forms through for Take Me Out. So I was like to myself, I went, right, Marty Skirrell's done well on it. I'm going to go and do it, stick it to Marty. So I went, give me one of the application forms. So I got the application form, I filled it all out, and then I got my audition was at the Novotel. So I went to the Novotel, and I had this skinhead, clean shaved, and I was wearing a three-piece suit. Like I looked like I was going to the High Court for like a crime, right? Aye. And I've walked into this big like boardroom, right? And I'm not being gay when I say this, but there was guys there, right, that were like long blonde hair, like over 6 foot. They look like Greek gods, mate. Right, and here's me standing in a three-piece suit. I look like an absolute fucking idiot. So I'm like, I was like myself. I went, I'm not getting this whatsoever, right? So I didn't realise I was the first one in. So I was the first one in, and it was like you do this wee kind of mock, like kind of talking head interview, right?
All right.
So I done that, and then from there, I get all the way through it. So I was actually out shopping with my mum, right? And I'm in this fucking women's shop. My ma's looking about and all that. Now at the time I didn't know what shortlisted meant. I didn't know what that meant whatsoever, right? So I'm like, I'm doing my ma's not in all day with it, right? And I'm like, I'm waiting on a phone call for ITV, and people are looking at me in the shop going, "Who's this dick?" Right? So the phone call goes, and I'm like, "Hello." He's went, "Hi, this is Dan, one of the producers from Take Me Out." And I was like, "Hello, Dan." I'm like, and he went, "Is this David Coyle?" And I went, "Yes, speaking." He went, "Right, David." He went, "Just to let you know," he went, "But well, you've been shortlisted." And he says, "down to 4 people." And I went, "Well, I'm absolutely so sorry to hear that, mate. I went, maybe next year." the guy is pushing himself on the phone, right? And he goes, David, do you know what shortlisted means? And I go at him, absolutely not. And he pure buckles, man. He goes, it means that you've been chosen into the last 4 people. You're on the show. I'm like, I'm in the show. I'm on Take Me Out. Here we go. I was like, right, Dan boy. I says, cheers, mate. Thanks very much. So that was me, mate. Boom, down on the show. I get flown. What was it? No first class. It was down for first class on the British Airways flight.
All right.
And I get right into London, and there was a guy with a black. There was a guy with like a sign, black suit, hat on, right? ITV, ITV, Take Me Out, Mr. David Coyle, and I was like, "Hello, big man, that's me." Right. But mate, into this big black Mercedes van, there was like a mad gift package and all that, and this motor with beers and all that in it, bubble bath bombs or something like that, whatever you call them. So it was classmate. Obviously, then I go to the date. I went to Las Americas in Tenerife. The date was a success, and then had the night out in Gary Lineker's bar in Las Americas, and then came back home. It was an absolute ball. But I was I was a ball hair away. I've never told anybody this. I was a ball hair away for getting on the last of a Big Brother.
Why?
Aye. Did you see the Scottish lassie that went on it?
I'm trying to.
And she get papped off because she was too controversial and stuff.
All right, aye.
Right, that was the lassie that beat me in the final confirmation stage.
Oh, bastard, man.
Mate, I know. I get a phone call. I get a phone call after your team, basically telling me and going like that. Oh, David, just to let you know that this is such and such for. What is it Channel 5 it's on?
Aye.
Right. So they went obviously for Big Brother. And they went. We should have picked you. So when they're saying this to me, I'm instantly thinking, "You fucking dancer! I'm getting in the house," and they went like that. But we should have picked you, but we've packed her out. But just to let you know that we should have picked you. But anyway, all the very best and future success. Cheery bye, and hung up the phone. And I went, the fuck was the fucking point in that phone call?
Aye.
So, mate, I was like, you fucking bastard, man.
That's just a fucking noise up, man.
Oh, mate, look, mate. See if I'd have got on that Big Brother, mate. Boom. That's me, mate. I would have went out with Jodie Marsh, the whole lot, the full shebang.
Yeah, that's something is Big Brother still running?
No, it's finished, mate. That was kaput. The only one that I believe still running is a celebrity one.
Is that what it? Aye, because it was on. I used to watch it when it was on Channel 4, and then I remember it was the last gen, and then Channel 5 had it for a wee while.
Aye, mate. Aye, so hopefully, well, you never know if it comes back. I maybe put a wee bash in it and see what happens.
Lionheart, he made an appearance in Big Brother.
He did. He did indeed. Him and Lion Kid.
Aye, they were screaming the faces off for a few folk.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant. It was class, man.
Just speaking of Lionheart, I'm going to ask you about what did he mean to you as a friend and a mentor?
Meant the world to me, man. Even though that he's not here, God bless him, but he still means the world to me, and I've never stopped thinking about him to the day he went. Like he helped me a lot, stuck up for me, had everybody's backs. He was a locker room leader. Everywhere he went, locker room leader. He would tell you straight if you were being a prick, or again, he would have your back. But he was a lovely guy, very professional, very well spoken. And if you were friends with him, in this case, he was like family to me. He would physically, in all his power, do anything for anybody.
Aye. I had the privilege of training with him for my first 8 weeks. I was training with him, and it was weird, like, because I watched him at the Hydro beat Jackie Polo for the title. When I was watching him as a fan, I hadn't listened to that Joe Hendry podcast, so I hadn't considered training.
Yeah.
And about 6 months later, I find myself in the ring with him, and I was just for the 8 weeks I've had with him, like, he left a mark on me. He pushed me.
Aye.
There was his thing that he said at training day was, "You're not allowed to get frustrated with yourself. That's my job. I'm allowed to be frustrated with you."
Aye, that literally sounds like Lionheart.
That's what he was. That's what he was saying. He'd see you getting annoyed with yourself, but like, no, that's my job. You're not allowed to be annoyed.
Aye.
But
Aye, that definitely sounds like Ang Lionheart would say.
Aye, well, that's something I took away from him, like, but there was a couple of things. I don't think, see, when it comes to doing like your lucha roles, I don't think he expected much out of me because I'm a bigger guy. And
mate, it's not that he didn't expect much for you. He had a lot of belief in it. Anybody and everybody that stepped in that ring, training or wrestler, but it was all down to you and what you done. And see whatever you done, mate. I know fine well that you would have took him by surprise. And in his head, he would have been like that. Fair fucking play, my man.
Aye, and that's what it was. And because you wouldn't get a big reaction out of him every time. But
but it would be a sight. It would be like a tip of the hat. He would look at you like this.
Aye. That's it. And young point I did. I'm pretty sure it was on a lucha roll. Must have taken him by surprise, but I got him. He was like that. Yes. And I was like, fucking hell, man! I've never seen him doing that before. I was fucking tough for that. Like, I knew I'd done something right.
Aye, good man. I'm proud of you, mate. It's a good story to hear, my man.
Aye, he was some man, like, and I'm guessing you had a wee kind of story with going in when you're the Zero G champion. I'm guessing that meant a lot to you that you were able to pay the honours for him and get him the Zero G championship.
There was nobody else that I didn't want to drop that belt to than him. And it was brought up to me several times that I'll be dropping the belt to this person and that person, and I took and I went, no. I went, why should I drop the belt to them? I went, I'm not doing it. I went, if it's anybody, I went, then I think me and Adrian have spoke about it, and Dallas went, what do you mean? I went, well, me and Adrian, I went, Lionheart, we've been in talks about it, like on Messenger, and we think that this is what I want to do. He's not put words into my mouth. I mean, I want to drop the belt to him. I mean, his role, I mean, and how well he's been doing and how he's been getting over. I mean, it's time. I mean, and we want to do it with the AJ thing. Like Adrian had his neck broken with this move, and I said to Dallas, and so did Adrian, that because he's been on this kind of roll and stint that he wants to get it banned, it's dangerous. There's no other way that would just nail it in the head that he's an absolute prick. Right? That if he hits me, boom, super kick, and then it's into the styles clash. And we say to Dallas, we meant, listen, trust us with this, and wait till you hear this. And I swear to God, mate, like, it's just, I'm standing there like this, and it's like bang, bang, run out, super kick, right in. And it's just, the minute he hooks me in, it's everybody's like, and it's up, man, run there, and then it bang. But Adrian's what he was in his head with me was that I was going to do the same mistake as him. But I was saying to Adrian, I says, mate, this isn't like I dig at you. I says, but I've took this years previous, several times after Dicky Divers. I says, so I know what to do. You should basically put your head back like that, and you take the front flip. So we done it, man, and it was just heel. Like, I think it was like it rolled me over this way, and it was like boom, 1, 2, and it made this. Honestly, it was like just Kenny. Like you just seen Kenny Williams come in the ring, no I'm coming in the ring, and I was just lying there, man, and it was just him holding the belt up like this, and it was one of the best title wins ever in ICW. Like surprisingly, boom, and that's what we wanted, and it was it, and it was a payoff for him, man.
Oh fuck, and you see him running out, and he runs out the ring at some point, and he's just in the crowd getting at the fucking. I told you this was going to fucking happen. You didn't listen.
Absolutely.
He was a right fanny back in the day, wasn't he?
The bad motherfucker.
It's fucking. I was going to say about Kenny Williams, just when you were saying there, you seen much of him lately? With him being busy, getting down in the.
To be honest, mate, I've not spoke to Kenny in a long time, and that's not because we fell out. It's just I've been busy with my stuff. He's busy with his stuff. Obviously, he's getting WWE NXT UK. So it's just like nowadays, mate. It's just you don't ever really speak to each other now, just because obviously the coronavirus thing and all that as well. So. But I know from what I see online, he's keeping busy and he's doing well and stuff like that. So that's the best.
Aye, definitely. I'm sure, because I've got mates like that, and you don't speak to them for a year, 2 years, but when you do get to speak to them again, it's like no time ever passed, Ken.
That's it. You just pick up where you's left, or what? Do you know what I mean?
Aye. I'm going to talk a wee bit about Stevie Boy, because. Can I no mention the fact that he betrayed you and joined the NAK?
No,
that was some devastating stuff. I was looking at the videos recently, and even in the comments, like it was a couple of years back, and they're still saying, still devastated that the Bucky Boys only together anymore.
Mm-hmm.
How much did that kind of change things, like the landscape in ICW at the time?
I wouldn't say that it changed much, but what it did change was obviously like a new horizon for me and Stevie. It opened up a lot of doors for us to move in being singles wrestlers. Obviously at that time when we split up, like our names were like headline value. Do you know what I mean? Like we were up there with like Wolfgang, BT Gunn, Chester. So it was like what it changed for us was like, right now this is where you can need to see where you can hang with the big boys and carry that kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, like carry that kind of name value to the main event stage. Do you know what I mean? So like we were ready for it. We done it. The breakup was the biggest thing since sliced bread, mate. So it was, and mate, for there, we obviously we went and done our other things. We stormed that, and then I think it was the time just for the feud with me and Baby Davey. We were like, right, fuck it, boom, we're gonna go back and get it back. So and that's the thing, mate. Like, it's not that we didn't break up because we were getting stale, or nobody was like no liking us or what. It was actually us that says to Dallas, we want to break up. And he was like, what? And he went, why? And we were like, well, but something different in it. Let's give them something at the garage, because we were always getting the bigger venues on the tours, like Newcastle, Liverpool, all the big stuff. So he says, let's ski Glasgow. The Bucky Boys splitting up. And Dallas went, I don't know, man. He's like, I'm not into it. Never it out. And we were like, mate, trust us. Let's just fucking see what happens. I went, but nobody's going to expect us. And I says to Dallas, and I'm not wanting to be the one that turns heel. And Dallas went, how? He went, you're the biggest. And I went, I was like, that's what everybody's going to expect. I mean, why not have Stevie do it? And you know what, mate, honestly, man, it was, see that night, boom, Canadian Destroyer, and that was it. Boom, for there. Like, everybody that was involved in that skit everybody that was there backstage at that were saying to us after, like, that was just fuck it. Like, people still have I've got goosebumps again talking about it.
I'm getting it, man. Like,
it was mental, man. Mental.
Aye. And yeah, I kind of skyrocketed for the singles after
That's
that.
it, mate. Yeah, it took off.
Definitely. But I remember it was like Scary Ray. She came in and she was the first.
She came in. She gave me the Hurricane Rana.
Aye.
And then she gave me the low blow.
Aye.
Slid out. Unveiled the go fuck yourself tap.
Aye.
And Stevie slid in the ring, turned round, fucking this, and that was it, man. History.
Fucking brilliant, man. Absolutely brilliant. I was going to ask you something, and it's just pure fucking went out my head.
Oh, come on. I'm sitting here on the edge of my seat.
It'll come back to me, but it'll come back at the wrong time.
We'll come back when the podcast is done.
I'll drop you a message. Oh, no. I'm trying to... No, it's not coming to me at all.
Is it no coming back? Oh, yeah.
It was on the subject of Stevie Boy, I ken that, but... Whether
breakup.
That's... Well, no, that's...
Or was it getting back together?
It was just when you were saying there about Dallas no agreeing with like the best thing I think today is gay when kind of before you're getting stale. That's the best time to date because date before folk expect it and it makes it that much bigger.
Aye, like if you've got, and this is the thing, right? If you've got the mentality, the brain power and the knowledge to see it, and this is the thing, it's no. A lot of people have it in their head that they need to get stale and then change.
Aye,
but it's what's wrong with having something changing the now before you get stale, because it's like, and I'm not going to lie to you, I don't think the Bucky Boys will ever get stale.
No,
ever.
No, it's a class act. Right?
It's not that we ever had a worry. We didn't. It was just we wanted to give the fans use something more for your money, something more, like more getting involved in him. Like, do you know what I mean? So, and I think we done that. Obviously, the big pay-off match was the SCCC, me and Stevie, and that was a pure emotional night, man. That was class.
I watched
that was brilliant.
The promo package. I watched the
promo package. See that that Forever Young tune.
Aye, that's gave me thinking of that.
That was one of the best type videos for a match I've ever been in, man.
Aye, 100%. It was a fucking classic, mate. And just when we're saying that about the Bucky Boys, you're kind of talking about returning. Was that a feel good moment for you to come back?
Aye. Oh, that was amazing. Because obviously the way that we were filming the SPWA Fight Club tapings, so it was like you were doing them in like a two-parter, because obviously they're on the WWE network. Aye. So the tapings were filmed. That it would be like the first one was like Stevie getting fucking jumped after Davey and his crew, and then I came out on the end of that night with Carmel. I had up the ISW official World Heavyweight Championship, and it looks like I'm going to get into a storyline again with Stevie, but then I deal with it, and I pick him up, and then Carmel goes, "How about yous two versus these two?" And then it's like the next show that comes on is, even though it was in the same night, but the next show that comes on, the next taping, is the Gavin Young team versus the Bucky Boys, and we go over, and then that's when Stevie goes into the storyline with Noam Dar.
Aye, that's it. And Noam Dar's he's still currently the champion now, isn't he?
Still currently, aye.
He'll be good to see when he gets his chance.
Aye.
And on the subject of the world title, that's the only championship that seems to be no on your list when it comes to ICW.
No,
Is that what's going to be next, do you think?
that's what's next, mate. And I'm going to become another one of ICW's Grand Slam champions.
100%.
So once I get it, mate, it's going to be a cool achievement because it's. I know that there's other companies out there that called up, literally, like called up or named their belts like official World Heavyweight Championship. But this is.
It has been defended
because
worldwide.
Big Drew took it around six or eight countries and 4 continents, and it became an actual
world
title that was. Do you know what I mean? So, like having that and actually being classed as an official world champion is going to be class itself, and then I'll be going under the Grand Slam champion barrier. So I'm looking to get that done. And I'm looking to conquer that.
I'll definitely be at whatever show that is, by the way, just to let you kid.
Absolutely.
100%. When that happens, we'll hit you back on here anytime.
Sitting on your couch with the belt in your shoulder.
Because that'll be fucking quality and nice. Once everything opens back up again, doesn't always need to be through a Zoom call. Okay,
that's it. Hey,
wouldn't mind
face to face.
Wouldn't mind shining up that belt for you anytime, mate.
Oh, mate, my man, I'll get to polish it.
I'll get my uncle JP. I wouldn't trust him, mate. Like, I'd let him take a photo. He's been in like next to the title, but I wouldn't get his big sausage fingers touching it.
Like, just if I'm standing away for it, 2 meter.
I'm gonna ask you a couple of more questions, and then because you've been brilliant. You've gave me plenty of time, so I much appreciate.
No worries, mate. No worries, my
man. Out all the matches that you've been involved in your career so far, what is your favourite match personally that you've had?
That is a question. God, well, I'd say that I've got. Wow. I've got obviously the match with Drew, match with Joe Coffey, East Kilbride, match with BT Gunn, East Kilbride, the tag match with me and Jester against iGen, Kieran Kelly, sorry, and Craig Anthony. There's one with the Bucky Boys in Fight Club in Edinburgh. You've got the Edinburgh Street Fight. The match with me and Stevie at the ACCC. The Bucky Boys versus the Govan Young team. The match with me and Kevin Nash. Match with MVP, Vinny Dupree. God, there's a few, mate, but that's me. I could be here all day.
You've basically loved your whole career so far. Like, it's been a journey. It's been a journey.
And the journey's still happening, mate. There's obviously, let's just say that there's another continent that I'm going to, and it's been confirmed, and I'm going to another continent. That's all I can say now.
That's what I like to hear. Getting yourself out there.
Mate, it's happening.
That's what you've
got. It's all happening, my man. And that's it. You just, as I said, just need to keep doing what you're doing, keep your chin up.
Aye,
and that's it.
Definitely. And what atmosphere do you prefer? Do you prefer the family friendly shows, or do you prefer like an over 18s like ICW?
See, it's not that I prefer just one atmosphere. I prefer every single atmosphere there is in wrestling, and that's nothing to do with it being a family show. It's nothing to do with being an over 18 show. It's if you're that good at a wrestler, if you can get and know how to work a reaction for emotions, selling your face, right, and crowd work, interacting with the crowd, you're always going to have a reaction no matter what. And that's what I love. If you know how to do it and you can get the reaction out every single time, then your job, you're doing it. And that's what I love.
100%. And I've heard Jack Jester. I've seen him on the family friendly shows, and just because I've only known him for ICW, I've seen him at a couple of Pro Wrestling Elite shows, and you think to yourself, you wouldn't even know that he was ICW's Jack Jester, because he's putting it on for the kids. And like you say, it's on the face. He's your face tells it all, and he's a perfect example of somebody that if you're a good enough wrestler, just no matter in what environment you're in, you'll get yourself over.
That's it, mate. Mate, see the amount of nights out that me and Jester have been on, like in the town or a bit, or even on the road, like see everybody that thinks his eye is legit.
Oh, do they?
They're like that. Oh my God, can I touch your eye? Is it real and all that? And he's like that. Easy, yeah, boom.
Oh, doesn't he actually let folk touch his eye though, does he? I wouldn't be fucked with that.
Yeah. Aye.
I'm gonna make this my last question. You're still only in your late 20s. Have you even scratched the surface of what you're able to do? And have we seen anything? Is there a lot more to come yet?
There's definitely a lot more to come, mate. As I say, I'm going out to, and soon I'll be going out to another continent. Still got many other things happening. And as of now, it's going to keep them down low. But I'm not even halfway, and it's still got a lot to tank.
Aye, that's what I like to hear. It's mind blowing to me because I'm 26 and my pro wrestling.
Yeah, I'm 27.
Aye,
I'm coming up for 28 in October.
Aye, that's what makes me think, like, my God, man, I should have got into this when I was 15. No 20, no 24 when I started. But
mate, I know, mate. It's mental if you think about it, mate. Like as I says earlier on, if you get into it at a young age, then see the things that you can do, and that's a lot of people don't. A lot of people think I'm older because I've been in the business for over a decade.
Aye.
A lot of people think I'm so 12 and a half years I've been in the business, and it's, mate. Everybody thinks that I'm a lot older, and when I say my age, they're like, that's sake, do you know what I mean?
Aye.
So it's definitely mental, mate. It is. It's absolutely mind blowing. The things that I've done, the things that I'm still doing, the things that I've got yet to come, and I'm only in my late 20s. Like not even anywhere near 30. Do you know what I mean?
No. That's it. You've not even hit your peak yet, man. You're still going to. I think when you get that world championship run, that'll be you at your peak.
I'm hoping for it, mate. Fingers crossed.
100%.
Fingers crossed.
I ken it's going to happen. Like, the story writes itself. That can't no happen. Ken, you've.
Well, I just hope it writes me into that title win. I hope the pen doesn't run out of ink.
We'll need to bring a couple of spare pens in case that.
Aye, a couple of bicks.
We'll make it happen. It's going to happen. Like, and when it does, the pro wrestling journey here, we'll be covering it. Like, we'll be going out in the town, mate. We'll be having a fucking party.
That's it. We'll be going out in the Randan.
Oh, listen, thank you very much for coming on, David. It's been an absolute pleasure getting a crack with you tonight.
No worries, man. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
So there it is, travellers. We here at the Pro Wrestling Journey podcast look forward to seeing which continent Davey Blaze is off to next. On this episode, we learned a whole lot more about the Buckfast Barbarian, and we cannot wait to cover his eventual ICW World Championship title win. At that win, me and Sean will be in attendance. Good luck, David. We've reached the destination for this episode of the Pro Wrestling Journey, so thanks for listening, folks, and we'll be back next Sunday with more thoughts on the wrestling universe.